Once upon a time, in the majestic land of ancient Egypt, there ruled a powerful and feared pharaoh named Amenhotep. His reign was marked by opulence, tyranny, and an unwavering belief in his divine status. He had earned the title of Pharaon, which struck fear into the hearts of his subjects. Pharaoh Amenhotep was a man of imposing stature, with a regal aura that commanded obedience from all who crossed his path. He believed himself to be a living god, chosen by the heavens to guide and protect his people. The splendor of his kingdom was unparalleled, with magnificent pyramids, grand temples, and sprawling cities that showcased the might and wealth of ancient Egypt. However, Pharaoh's immense power had corrupted him. His heart had grown cold and merciless, and he ruled his land with an iron fist. The people of Egypt lived in constant fear, their lives burdened by heavy taxes, forced labor, and harsh punishments for even the slightest transgressions. One day news reached Pharaoh of the birth of a child, a boy, who was destined to bring great change to Egypt. The prophecies whispered that this child would challenge his authority and lead the people to freedom and prosperity. Pharaoh, driven by paranoia and insecurity, saw this as a direct threat to his reign. In his fear, Pharaoh issued a decree that all male infants of a certain age were to be seized from their families and drowned in the sacred river Nile. His soldiers combed the cities, ruthlessly snatching babies from their mothers' arms, leaving despair and anguish in their wake. Among the terrified families was a couple, Amun and Nefertari, who had just welcomed their newborn son, Moses. Desperate to save him, they devised a plan. In the dead of night, they placed Moses in a small basket made of reeds and set him adrift on the river, praying that the gods would protect their precious child. The basket gently floated downstream, carrying Moses away from the clutches of Pharaoh's soldiers. Eventually it came to rest near the royal palace, where it was discovered by the pharaoh's daughter, Princess Merit. Moved by the sight of the helpless infant, she decided to raise him as her own. Moses grew up within the palace walls, oblivious to his true identity. He was given the finest education, training in the arts of warfare, politics, and leadership. Yet a restlessness gnawed at his soul, urging him to seek answers about his origins and the plight of his people. One fateful day, as Moses ventured beyond the palace grounds, he witnessed an Egyptian soldier mercilessly beating a Hebrew slave. Consumed by righteous anger, Moses intervened, defending the slave and accidentally killing the soldier in the process. Realizing the magnitude of what he had done, Moses fled Egypt, fearing Pharaoh's wrath. In exile, Moses found refuge in the distant lands of Midian, where he met Jethro, a wise and noble man. Moses married Jethro's daughter, Zipporah, and started a new life as a shepherd. However, his encounter with a burning bush and a divine voice changed everything. The voice claimed to be the God of his ancestors, commanding Moses to return to Egypt and confront Pharaoh, demanding the freedom of the Hebrew slaves. With trepidation, Moses heeded the call, armed with a staff and accompanied by his brother Aaron, whom he had met along the way. Moses returned to Egypt, defying Pharaoh's might with a series of miraculous plagues unleashed upon the land. Locusts swarmed, waters turned to blood, and darkness blanketed the sky, all while the Hebrew people were spared from the devastation. Finally, broken and humiliated, Pharaoh relented, allowing the Hebrews to depart from Egypt. With the miraculous parting of the Red Sea, Moses led his people to freedom, leaving Pharaoh and his oppressive regime behind. The story of Pharaoh is one of power, tyranny, and the unyielding spirit of a people seeking liberation. It serves as a reminder that even the most tyrannical rulers will eventually face the consequences of their actions, while the righteous will prevail against all odds.